WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out bright future, we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions, fan cans, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when Eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Hello everyone and welcome to another Transfer Weekly. I will be the host for today. First up, we have Rich. Rich, who have you got?
Andy Diouf is a centre midfielder who we have been previously linked with. The 22-year-old French under-21 international has made 34 appearances for Lens, scoring 1 goal, having 2 assists. His main attribute is his dribbling ability. He loves to carry the ball forward with his long strides. But for someone who's fairly tall, around 6'2", he's got deceptively quick feet. But let's have a quick look as to how he would benefit us in a Glasner system. Right. As you can see, this is like our current setup, how we obviously set up for the FA Cup final and how we've been setting up recently. And let me just bring Mitchell in a bit. So when we play with the likes of Wharton and Kamada, there's definitely an emphasis of just ball retention. So you'll get a lot of passes, whether it's backwards or sideways, to obviously, just retain possession. And that's particularly with Kamada. If you can find a pass forward to Ebbs, he will as well. Lots of short passes. With Wharton, you get a bit more range. Obviously, he's still got the ability to do the shorter passes, but Wharton also has the capability, if need be, to find that switch, if need be, to Mitchell. No matter what side of the pitch he's on, he can do it both ways in order to find our wing-backs. But obviously the focus is on Andy Diouf, and I'm just going to switch Kamada with Diouf here and show you what Diouf can bring to the side. And I did obviously mention earlier regarding his dribbling and his ability to run with the ball, and I think this is where it will benefit us a lot. Not saying that what both Kamada and Wharton do is not good, but it gives us another dimension. And I think this is a dimension that we lack as a team anyway. We minus Ismail Sarr, I wouldn't say we've got runners. Ebbs is good at dribbling and stuff, but I don't think we've got like direct runners, and that's what Andy Diouf brings us. So let's just say if Diouf has the ball, the first thing he's looking to do is, let me just make sure that I've just got those two high. There you go. He's looking to drive, and that's what he's done. He's a powerful runner, very, very powerful runner, and all that means is that the defensive midfield, whoever it may be, they're going to drop off, which then obviously creates space for attacking players to be able to run and force their centre-backs to drop deeper and deeper. And it makes us have another attacking option, because especially for someone like Ismail Sarr, when we have like Wharton and Kamada, if we are trying to play Sarr in behind, the only times really is if we get it out to Munoz here and he passes it out wide or through the gaps for Sarr. But we don't really tend to go for much of a ball over the top sort of effect from midfield. So with Diouf obviously running into these areas here, he's obviously going to drag a load of players with him. And like I said, this will then benefit our forward players, because now they can pick up spaces to create. They can create spaces with their runs for Diouf to run into, and Diouf and himself may be able to get a shot off and goal as well. So tactically, I think it will be a great move for us if we do get him. Like I said, someone who's going to be able to run from midfield and cause the opposition problems. But let's see how we get on with that. So, as you can see, he's a progressive player who has a passing range that likes to play through the lines. But he's also got the ability to play longer passes out to the wings, similar to what Adam Wharton does. Although Diouf likes to shoot, I think one of the areas that he needs to improve on will be his attacking output. And another area of improvement is his defensive positioning. Now, he moves around the pitch quite a bit, obviously, with his playing style. Obviously, he likes to dribble with the ball a lot and run with the ball a lot as well from deeper positions. But that causes him to be out of position defensively from time to time, which could be seen as a weakness. However, obviously, in the tackling aspect, he is pretty good. His stand-up tackling is really good. He rarely has to go to ground or slide tackle. And obviously, because his stand-up tackling is pretty good, when he does win the ball, it allows him to drive into the spaces that he creates, or that is left by the opposition midfield when they are attacking against the teams that he's playing for. So as it stands, reports are saying that we've sent scouts out to watch him during the recent Under-21 European Championship. Also, other reports are saying that personal terms are done, but we'll have to wait and see with that. But the valuation seems to be around the 20 million to 25 million euro mark. So you know what, we'll have to wait and see how this one gets on. But let us know your thoughts on Andy Diouf and will he benefit Palace in the long run?
Thank you very much, Rich. Now, JC.
Jose Angel Esmores Tasende, otherwise known as Angelino. He is a 28-year-old Spanish left-footed left-back/left wing-back that currently plays for Roma. You know, it's a position that we have been looking to, and he has had a very, very extensive career. From the start, he has gone through a lot of teams on his way up to the top level, and he has actually stayed around that top level for a very long time, whether that's the top division in Spain, Italy, Germany, or England. So, here is a little rundown of his career history. Started at Deportivo Youth, then he went to Manchester City under-18s for €4.5 million, which for a youth player, €4.5 million for a youth player is insane money. Let's just put that out there straight away. Then he was loaned to City FC in the MLS. Then he got a loan to Girona in the second division of Spanish football at the time, and they finished second in the league, so they got promoted. Then he got another loan to Mallorca, who finished 20th in Spanish's second division, so they got relegated to the third division, which wasn't his best season. After that, he went on loan to Breda, who was in the Dutch first division, who finished 14th, so you know, comfortable mid-table finish there. Then finally, after all those loans from Manchester City, he went to PSV Eindhoven for €5.5 million. After that brief spell, he was only there for 1 year, Manchester City had a buyback clause and they bought him back for €12 million, and he played a little bit for Manchester City, but he was only there for 6 months before he got loaned back out to RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga. After the end of the season, from January until the summer, which is when he was on loan there, he went back there on a permanent transfer for €18 million. Then on loan to Hoffenheim, on loan to Galatasaray, and then on loan to Roma, and then he eventually made that Roma transfer permanent by going there for €5.4 million. So like I said, he's been around a little bit, but he has got a lot of experience in some of the top teams in international football, and he has got a lot of European experience. He played European football at Roma, European football at Leipzig, and European football at Manchester City. So experience-wise, this is exactly the kind of player that we need to be looking at. He is a very, very versatile player. You know, he primarily plays in that left wing back role, and he is a very attacking player. He can play left back in a 4-back system, but that's not his primary position. But there's also the versatility that he's able to flex into that left centre back role. Very, very, very similar to how Ben Chilwell could play. You know, he could play left back, left wing back, and left centre back. But with this guy, he can take set pieces, and he is a kind of guy that you can flex in and out with, depending on how you want to set up strategically, whether you want to play a little bit more on the front foot comparing him with Mitchell, let's say. So he is one of those players that can take set pieces as well with his left foot. So I know we've got Adam Wharton, you've got Will Hughes, but you've got another left footer here if you wanted to mix it up a little bit. He also has a insane work rate, I can't lie to you. Watching the clips, you know, I see him going up and down that wing all game for the whole 90 minutes. He hardly ever gets subbed off. There is no exact number for the amount of distance he covers per game or the average he's got throughout the whole system, because then you could just divide it and go from there. However, another wing-back by the name of Weigl, Weigl, who also plays in the Bundesliga, it's very well known that Angelino's got a better work rate than this guy, and calculating his work rate, he does 9.8 kilometers per game. But like I said, everyone says that Angelino's work rate is better and he covers more distance. For a little bit of context there, Daniel Munoz covers 10.8 kilometers per game. And, if we've got that kind of intensity and the running power from both sides, we're going to have some incredible wingbacks if he does choose to sign for Crystal Palace. As a player, he has a great first touch. He's able to underlap and overlap. The underlap is very important because Munoz does it, and how effective it is when going through on goal, getting into good goal scoring opportunities and getting to run in behind. This is exactly what Angelino's good at as well. He's good at running in behind. He's good at getting in between half spaces between the centre-back and the full-back. He's good at running forwards. He's great at linking up play. He can pass and dribble with both feet, not just his left foot. Yes, he is primarily left-footed, but he can still use that right foot to pass, to dribble, you name it. But like I said, very good shooting opportunities because of that underlap, but the overlap as well gives him the opportunity to link up the play with one-touch passing to get down the wing. He can also do that with one-touch passing to get in behind the striker, so I could imagine him, setting a 1-2 to Adam Wharton, running on the inside, setting a 1-2 to Mateta, and then he's through on goal. I'm sure we've seen Ben Chilwell do that for us a few times, but, Angelino could do this as well for us. I think the main thing that he's good at is getting in behind, down the wing, but he's very, very, very good. I would even say elite at low-driven crosses. The amount of power that he can get behind the ball, and he can just fizz it across the ground, and it's just a tap-in for the strikers. I can see Ismaila Sarr, Eze and Mateta, and even Munoz, one wing back to the other, having an absolute field day with the kind of crosses that he can put in the box. He can put good crosses in the air from deep, but if he's running in behind, he can pull it back, he can find the man. Low-driven crosses, incredible. Playing football regularly in 2018, he's only missed 10 games through injury in his whole career, and it's not like he's hardly playing any games. Last season alone, 51 appearances, 4 goals, 6 assists in all competitions, and 11 of those games are including in the Europa League. And like I said, in previous clubs, he has played a lot of European experience. He's played Champions League and he's played Europa League football. He's also played for his international team a little. Transfermarkt are valuing him at 20 million euros, but that's not the kind of money that I expect Palace to spend on a player like him for his age. But for the experience and the quality, I think this is exactly on the mark. He's great. I think he'd really improve us squad depth-wise, and he'd improve us with our starting 11 as well. But the only gripe I'd have is that his defending isn't up to standard, I would say. Yes, he does play for a Roma team, and he has played for a lot of teams where they don't do too much defending. He's very attacking. He's very forward-thinking. You'd sort of think he's a little bit more to Chilwell. Once again, the similarities are very similar to him and Chilwell. Not so good defensively, but can go forwards extremely well, and he is an incredible footballer. And you know what? I wouldn't be mad if we was to get him. But overall, he is what we need, but I think if you're going to spend that kind of money on someone, I would spend the money on Diouf. Younger, more potential, and I think he's already better at defending, and his crossing is just as good. So, have I convinced you about Angelino, or are you in agreement with me that we should spend the money on Diouf?
Thank you very much, JC. Next, we have Nate.
Yes, people, it's Nate here to give you the lowdown on the rumours linking Douglas Luiz, formerly of Aston Villa and currently of Juventus, with a summer move to SE25. So, Douglas Luiz, who is he and why are Palace in for him? So, we already know that Douglas Luiz played in the Premier League for Aston Villa before he made a move to Juventus about a year or two ago. And Douglas Luiz is one of those players that his former Aston Villa teammate John McGinn described him as world class. He's a Brazilian midfielder who can play as a 6 or an 8, and according to Il Tutto Sport in Italy, which admittedly isn't the most concrete of links or sources, but they appear to be under the impression that Crystal Palace are the front runners to attempt to lure him from Turin back to the Premier League
in a deal which could set Palace back a fee of close to approximately 21 or 22 million pounds. So Douglas Luiz is 27, so he's near enough in the peak of his career, and he may offer a good bit of squad depth ahead of what hopes to be a historic season for the club, as we hopefully will find out whether we will be playing in Europe next season after winning the FA Cup. In terms of what can we expect from him, I think if you've watched any clips of him playing for either Aston Villa or Juventus, you can see that he's a very good player in terms of the energy that he brings to the team, his ability to transition the ball from deep to the danger areas, both out wide and obviously down the middle of the pitch. He's very good at reading the game and probably could give a bit more cover to defensive midfield side of the team. So you're talking the likes of Adam Wharton, Jeff Lerma, Will Hughes, Czech Decore, arguably David Ozo if he gets a look in this season, but I highly doubt he will. So yeah, I mean, you know, if you've got someone like Douglas Luiz available for £22 million or there or thereabouts, I think most people would probably absolutely want to see the club pursue that as much as possible. But me personally, I'm not against the idea. I think it'd be a very good option, and he's a very good player. But am I willing to see us spend £20 million on a player who hasn't really set the world alight since he moved from England to Italy a couple of years ago? But look, having said that, the last player we signed from Juventus to Crystal Palace, he did all right, although, albeit it was in 1997, Attilio Lombardo, for those of you who don't know who I'm referring to. But no, listen, in all truth, Douglas Luiz, for me, I think if it's going to happen, it has to be one of the most shrewd signings we'll ever make, because there's going to be a lot of upheaval with the squad, because obviously we do know that certain players are being linked with big moves away. So we need to see that if players are being linked with moves away, we need to be able to see that there's concrete attempts at making, you know, a step up in terms of recruitment to compete on as many fronts as possible. But anyway, folks, I'm not going to drag this out any longer and just completely talk waffle for the sake of it. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like and a subscribe. And more importantly, stay locked on Transfer Weekly, because anytime we hear any news, you'll definitely hear it from us here first. This has been my segment on Douglas Luiz, and I'll see you in the next one. Only one thing left to say. Up the Palace. Eagles!
Thank you very much, Nate. And now is my turn, and I chose Dan Ndoye, who we have been linked with recently. There are rumours that he may cost around about £40 million, so please bear that in mind. He's an attacking midfielder, although I believe he can play as an emergency wing-back as well if needed. He can play in both 10 positions on the left and the right. I quite like this signing. I didn't know too much about him before, but I've had a watch of some of his games, and he's really, really tricky. He's got a very, very strong run, and he's absolutely rapid. For me, he's also very good at linking up with the play. The only things I would say are maybe the decision making isn't 100% there all the time. And also, I think he could work on his finishing a little bit more, get some more goals in him under Glasner. And to be honest, I think under Glasner, I think he would improve in those aspects. I think Glasner will look at what he's good at, try and build around him in that sense, and try and minimise any weaknesses that he does have. The only other kind of alert for me really was that he didn't play quite a lot of games this season due to some minor injuries. So he only played about 2,100 minutes this season out of a possible 3,400 or so. So that would be a problem for me. This would be if Ebbs leaves, obviously because of the price tag. Do I think he's worth that kind of money? I would err on the caution of maybe not. I think he is very good on the ball. He's a really strong runner, and he would fit our system really well. I just, for 40 million, I just feel like you need that caliber of player who's going to come in and almost certainly be a good player for us. I think he will be a good player, but I feel like he's just not quite at that level of £40 million. So I'd like to see us haggle that price if we do decide to go for him. And that's only been reported by one place, Sports Witness. So how accurate that is, I'm not too sure. With a lot of these deals, it's always a case of who's available, who can we get. You know, they'll have a long list of players who they admire. It's just about the availability. He is contracted until 2027. He does have an option for a further year. It's not clear whether that's triggered by him or by the club. So that could be one of the reasons why he is more expensive. He does have European experience as well, which is obviously very crucial for us. He had European experience at Nice in the Europa League. He's also had European experience in the Conference League with Basel. And he has also played in the Champions League this season with Bologna. So, yeah, I think he would be a good signing, but for 40 mil is really, really steep. You do have to wonder whether he is really, because he would need to be a starter. And for me, I'm seeing him as like he could play in both of those 10 roles. So he would be, you know, arguably one of the first players, but he's not like a definite first player, which is the kind of player who I would want to see for 40 million. So like, I don't know, say like a Johan Bakayoko, for example, you know, someone who is potentially going to get to very soon that level of an Abera Eze, because we are going to miss him if he does leave. And I can't see us going in for this kind of player if he doesn't leave. So, yeah, I think he could also play. I think he does have a couple of different facets in his game as well. Like, I think he does have that creative element, but he also has that, because he's absolutely rapid. So he does have that element of, you know, he can kind of play that Saar kind of forward role where we are just looking to get him behind on that right hand side. And I think that would sync up with Daniel Munoz really well. And he is right-footed, and when I've watched him play, he does seem to be able to play out wide and also play more in the middle. So that's another really good asset to his play, because whoever the wing back is, on whichever side it is, that means that the wing back's able to overlap him on the outside or underlap him on the inside. And obviously, the more ways you have to attack a team, the easier it becomes for yourself, because if you're very one-dimensional, it's very easy to defend against. But if you're the opposite and you've got lots of different ways of attacking, then you make yourselves more difficult to defend against, because you have to bear in mind what your opponent's doing, and you have to kind of gamble. Like, if you know that if they pass out wide, they don't have a lot going forwards, and you can kind of leave that player alone, kind of thing, or you can give them just a bit more space, because by the time you get to them, then you are able to engage with them. If you're getting into the defender's mind and saying this might not happen, you're making them second guess themselves. And at the end of the day, these sort of these seconds and half seconds that you can gain like that are really, really important. But overall, 40 million, I think, is a bit steep. If we can bargain that down, and obviously depending on whether Ebbs goes, then I think that could be a possibility. But he is a really good player. I did really like the look of him. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching Transfer Weekly this week again. You guys are fantastic. Thank you all for watching. The views, the comments, the subs, they all make this worth it. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you all have a good day. Thank you.